Traveler, Paimon, please let me be your partner for the final round of the test of courage.
Yes! 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 Yes!
I want to go back to where we first met up. I believe there may still be some clues there. This should be approximately where you first encountered the ghost. Do you recall anything she said at the time?
She warned us not to go near her, and she said if we didn't leave, our souls would become trapped here. Paimon saw some sort of black mist surrounding the ghost, and then Paimon passed out.
I believe there are only two possibilities. The first is that she wanted to reap your souls, but there was some condition that had to be met. This is the less likely scenario. I believe she was just trying to scare you away. I don't believe she actually meant any harm. She just didn't want you to stay here. Let's continue investigating the surrounding area. Have you found any leads yet?
Yeah, some tree branches seem like they were bent by something.
There are burn marks in some places, but that doesn't really tell us much.
Excuse me. Sorry to interrupt.
We heard you were out searching for clues, and we wanted to help.
Welcome to the team. Let's all do our best to figure out what's going on.
Look what I found down by the river.
Is it a scrap of black cloth?
This is a piece of shade cloth. It can effectively block out light and is used in a variety of settings, including stage performances. There's a rough tear in the cloth, probably caused by a sharp stone, or maybe some branches. Maybe she used it to create the atmosphere you experienced. Let's start by taking a look around the area.
I found some sort of smashed ball under the tree. The inside of it looks like it was blackened by smoke, and it smells like fireworks.
Judging from the burn marks left on the scene, the ghostly flames you saw were not created by yokai power.
There's some strange powder in the cracks of these stones. I picked some up and sniffed it to see what it is, and it made me really dizzy.
I believe we're closing in on the truth now. I'm almost certain that the woman you encountered was not a ghost. Because you were already tensed up, you were breathing more rapidly and inhaled a lot of sleeping powder that she had sprinkled around the area. That is what caused you to feel dizzy. That's when she pulled down the shade cloth and lit those so-called ghostly flames, creating a terrifying scene. There is, however, still one loose end. The person who commissioned my investigation did become stranded on the beach as a result of some unusual power. She can only use props to scare people in the forest, but she can use strange powers on the beach. Huh, I see. I think I've figured it out.
I knew it. I knew that you would come find me here.
Your yokai power won't scare us. It will only hasten your demise.
How did you know?
You're a yokai that emerged from an object and assumed a human form outside of your own body. When this type of yokai is close to its own body, it can use some yokai power, but that ability weakens as it moves further away. And if the original body is destroyed, then the yokai that originated from it will likewise perish. Should I refer to you as a Hagoita spirit or Tsukumogami?
Don't bother. You may call me Hanyuda Chizuru.
Chizuru, why do you want us to leave?
I don't want you to be sad too. The samurai was about 25 years old when they met at the festival. They met again 10 years later and remained friends. They spent time together drinking, traveling, and sparring. When they had first met, they merely respected each other, but 10 years later, they became best friends. After another decade, the samurai had reached the pinnacle of his swordsmanship and won their duel by a narrow margin. Kamai was so astonished by his defeat, he gave up drinking and began training to become stronger for their next duel. However, another 10 years later, Kamai did not meet the samurai. As it turned out, war had broken out in the south, and the samurai had gone to defend the border. But when they met once again, Kamai discovered that the samurai was already 65 years old. He couldn't believe his eyes when he saw the samurai's gray hair and scars covering his body.
Hey, old friend. Can you still wield the sword?
I'm getting too old to fight. This time, I've come to say goodbye.
I see. Then, how about one last game of Akitsu Hazara?
All right.
The samurai gave his best effort during the game, but had to quit halfway through because he was too weak. After putting down his Agoita, Kamai remained silent for a long time before letting out a long sigh.
What a shame.
Their friendship started as something they looked forward to, and in just a few decades it turned into regret. When the dream ends, all that is left are sorrowful memories and lingering pain. I was hiding on this beach, waiting for the last of my days. But those 3 yokai came and set up the Akitsu Yugen here, which woke me from my slumber. I didn't want them to approach humans with unbridled optimism and enthusiasm just because they'd heard the legend of Kamai and the samurai. That would simply be repeating the same mistake.
So you must be the one who trapped that guy on the beach.
That jerk was greedy. He wanted to steal the decorations from Akitsu Yugen and sell them for a profit.
How did you know the rest of the story about Kamai and the samurai?
Your true form is this pair of Hagoita. The pair of Hagoita used by Kamai and the human samurai to play Akitsu Hazura hundreds of years ago. And if my theory is correct, this pair of Hagoita is also the item we need to find for the 3rd round of the test of courage.
Congratulations, little ones. You've passed the 3rd round of the test of courage.
Miko? So you're the one responsible for all the scary stuff.
Now that I've solved the mystery, I'm going back to meet with my client. The intent to steal is not exactly a serious crime, but it can't go unpunished.
You must have been blaming yourself all this time. You knew Kamai and the samurai became friends as a result of Akitsu Hazura, a game connected to your existence.
I could often hear Kamai sighing to himself. I couldn't help but hide, because I blamed myself. When I woke up again, the world had changed. Is it really worthwhile for us yokai to interact with humans?
There is still another piece to the story of Kamai and the samurai that you are missing. That samurai's name was Yanagibashi Takuto, who also happens to be the founder of the Soran Ishin art. It is believed that Takuto developed this style of swordsmanship while dueling with Kamai, who had also befriended the 3rd generation heir of the Soran Ishin art, Tominaga Masanari. 500 years ago, Kamai and Tominaga fought side by side until their final moments, and the sword Tominaga wielded was passed down from Yanagibashi. The regret Kamai once felt had finally been resolved. The bond formed by friendship will not be broken, but rather carried on in a new form.
Hey, compadres! To celebrate the end of the Test of Courage event, we will be holding the Mikawa Flower Festival.
Traveler, do you have a moment? I'd like to talk to you. Alone on the beach. I knew you mistook me as one of the yokai, but instead of telling you the truth, I went and played Akitsu Yugen with you. Perhaps it's because I've always wanted to be like Kamai and play Akitsu Yugen with humans. Or perhaps it was because I knew I didn't have much time left, and I didn't want to be alone. Paimon said the loser would have to grant the winner a wish. I wish for you to remember me. No. I only have one wish, so I better make it count. My wish is... I wish that every day of your journey ahead will be filled with joy, like a festival.